Okay, let's finish up our module on graphics. Now, as we continue on with our module here, we're going to keep talking about graphics, but we're going to have to integrate all those different tools and features that you guys have been working on so far so that we can see how it works. So we've been taking a look at some various techniques of creating auto shapes, text boxes, and putting those together with grouping and arranging them. Now what we can actually do is we're going to see how we can use some of that for our academic and professional uses of those tools. We're going to be talking about basically inserting pictures and images that are related to text, more specifically using several tools that you have seen probably before but didn't know exactly how to create them, such as a Venn diagram, flowcharts, and smart art graphics. So I'm pretty sure you guys probably, if you didn't realize it, I use smart art diagrams all the time when I'm doing my PowerPoint presentation. So you guys have seen some smart art diagrams before. Now let's start off talking about the Venn diagram. So a Venn diagram by definition is a graphic in which circles are used to show relationships among sets of objects that have certain attributes. So in other words, you're comparing and contrasting information. For example, here's a Venn diagram of some information about my job. So this Venn diagram gives us an idea of what somebody thinks about their actual job. So if you follow these circles and you see how they intersect, so these are some things that my boss wants me to do. Then you have another circle inside of that that says things I can do with the tools that were actually given to me. Then you have another circle inside of that that says things I'm capable of doing given the right tools. And overall, my job is things which are actually possible according to the laws of physics and chemistry. Now, another Venn diagram over here to the right, which incorporates three circles because it's basically comparing three distinct things, the dogs, the humans, and lizards. So if you read over here, you see the dogs have in common with lizards, they all have 4 legs, whereas humans have in common with dogs that they're mammals. Now, what all three of them have in common in the middle is that they're animals and they may eat bugs. Now, let's discuss flowcharts. So flowcharts basically they give you information in a detailed view. So if you look at this information on the screen, on the left side, you have a scenario, a synopsis of photosynthesis, which is just a breakdown of water, carbon dioxide, light, which is energy, and how it produces oxygen. Whereas over here on the right side, you have a graphic display using images and text boxes and auto shapes. So naturally, your eyes probably just gravitated more to the right side because we basically are visual learners. Typically, you don't want to read a lot of text to understand a process. You would rather just look at it to understand it. Now, that is the power of a flowchart. So flowcharts enable you to basically organize your information. In other words, build some concept maps. And anytime you have a process or a sequence of events, you want to try to figure out a way to create a flow chart of that information. It will let your audience be able to follow you a whole lot easier. Next, we have Smart Art Graphics. So Smart Art Graphics came out with Office 2007. In my opinion, it was one of the best enhancements Office did, whether if you were using Office 2007 or if you're using Office 2008 for a Mac. It's one of my favorite tools. Now, this again is a Microsoft Office tool. You may not have that option available to you if you're using a different program. Now, I do know Pages does have a similar feature, however, it's not as advanced as the Smart Art Graphic tool. So again, you want to make sure that you are taking advantage of the computer labs if you need to use a PC with Microsoft Office. So what is a smart art? By definition, a smart art is a predefined graphics that displays relationships, cycles, processes, and lists. So if you look over here to the right, I have a little list here, and it's basically, you can view it as a process because you start off with K through 12, then you go on to junior college or four-year university. But it's a nice list that I can organize. One good thing about a smart art is that it's dynamic. You can change the information in it very easily. So if you start to build a smart art, you don't have, and you change your mind, like if you want to change the data or if you want to change the formatting, it's not static. You can easily change it and manipulate it, and you can remove data or add data to it, but you don't have to start all the way over. Another great thing about Smart Art is that they are available in Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. So you're not restricted to just one application. So going back to what we were talking about before, now these are examples again from the previous slide, and what this has is on the left the text for photosynthesis, and then on the right you have a flow chart using auto shapes and images. So let's compare that to using a smart art. So here's a smart art graphic that uses the image also as well. And I've got it animated so that it brings them out one at a time, just like I did with the Venn diagram. So if I was doing a lecture on this, I would probably take my time and I would go through each process individually and I would just bring it up when I needed to. So that is a great thing about using a smart art graphic. You can display in a building fashion and you can animate them one by one if you're using them in a PowerPoint.